The porch light's been on since you drove away. Left it burning like a prayer in the cold November haze. Your coffee cup still sits beside the kitchen sink. I poured it out 1,000 times, but I never could stop and think. Maybe you'd come walking back up that gravel lane. Maybe those boots of yours would find their way through the rain. The last time your shadow fell across my door, the maple tree was red and the creek was running loud. I stood there like a fool, asking for just one more. Now I watch for you in every passing cloud, in every passing cloud. I talked to your mother. She said you'd moved out west, somewhere near the mountains. Said you seemed a little blessed. I told her I was happy, and I meant it halfway through. 'Cause there's a difference between living and breathing without you. Some days I forget the way you laughed at your own jokes. Some days it all comes back like smoke. The last time your shadow fell across my door, the maple tree was red and the creek was running loud. I stood there like a fool, asking for just one more. Now I watch for you in every passing cloud, in every passing cloud. I don't blame you for the leaving, I just blame the autumn light for showing me your silhouette one last beautiful night. And I keep that shadow in my chest like a stone that won't stay buried, like a name I hold too tight. The last time your shadow fell across my door, I should have reached out, should have said the things I held, but I watched the darkness swallow you and couldn't ask for more. Now the porch light burns for someone else's bell, someone else's bell. I was at the bar last Friday night, 2 drinks in, and the band was right. They played that slow waltz you always loved, the kind that hits somewhere below the blood. I smiled like I was fine, I tipped the band, then I drove home holding the steering wheel with one hand. And the radio cut out somewhere past the mill. The silence came, and then I felt you still. I still hear you in the silence between songs, and that second where the music fades to air. Your voice just fills it up like you belong, like you never really left. You're always there. You're always there. My buddy Jake said time would do its work, so give it 6 more months and it won't hurt. He's a good man, and I know he means it well, but nobody else can hear the things I hear. And that's still, it's not grief exactly, more like a tuning fork that hums your name every time the whole world stops. I still hear you in the silence between songs, and that second where the music fades to air. Your voice just fills it up like you belong, like you never really left. You're always there. Was it the way you sang along to every word you barely knew? Was it that laugh that came before the punchline ever broke through? Whatever piece of you lives in the quiet, it ain't ghost, it ain't grief. It's just love refusing to be silent. Love refusing to leave. I still hear you in the silence between songs, not haunting me, just holding on somehow. Your voice just fills the space like you belong. I stopped trying to turn down the sound. I stopped turning down the sound. It's been folded on the chair for 7 months now. I keep meaning to put it away, but I don't know how. It's brown corduroy, the left sleeve's got a tear from that barbed wire fence out behind the county fair. You didn't even flinch, you just laughed it off. Said everything worth keeping cost something soft. Your jacket still smells like that October night still the same. Two people holding on, still holding on. I wore it once in February, dark and late. Walked out to the field where we used to sit and wait for the stars to come out over Caldwell Hill. Stood there in your arms without you standing still. And I know I'm supposed to let these small things go, but the small things are all I've got left of the whole. Your jacket still smells like that October night, like wood smoke and cold wind, and something almost right, like the moment just before everything went wrong, and we were still the same. Two people holding on, still holding on. There's a ticket stub inside the inner pocket from that show we saw, the one you said changed your life. There's a piece of string you tied around your finger, said you'd remember something, can't remember what it was. Funny how a sleep can hold a whole life. Funny how a smell can make a ghost feel alive. Your jacket still smells like that October night, and someday I know I'll fold it away for good. When the wood smoke fades, memory fades with light, I'll let it go the way I always knew I would. Always knew I would. We were heading south down 41, windows down. You were reading the map out loud, GPS was out. We argued about the route somewhere past Laurel Creek. You said left, I said right, and neither one would speak. We found the motel fine, we found the bed and sleep, but somewhere in that silence we lost something deep. We left our love somewhere off that highway exit, between the gas station and the grain elevator sign. We left it in the car, or we left it in the distance, somewhere along that long yellow line. That long yellow line. By December we were polite, real careful like. Said please and thank you, kept our voices right. You packed your things on a Tuesday afternoon, left a note that said I think we both knew this soon. I drove back down that highway just to find the place where something living left without a trace. We left our love somewhere off that highway exit, between the gas station and the grain elevator sign. We left it in the car, or we left it in the distance, somewhere along that long yellow line. I don't think it was the argument, I don't think it was the map. I think we'd been losing something every mile we couldn't get back. And highways are real good at taking things you didn't know you were holding. You don't feel the weight leave your hands till everything's already rolling. We left our love somewhere off that highway exit. I stopped there once and walked the gravel edge. Maybe love don't die, maybe love just wanders, and it's still out there somewhere past that ridge, somewhere past that ridge. You told me things under the pecan tree, things you said you'd never told another living being. I held them close, I turned them over in the night. Words so honest, they could cut right through the dying light. You said some things just need to be released. Sent them up like seeds on the evening breeze. But the wind still knows every word you said. It carries them through the tall grass, through the hay, through the hollow where the river bends ahead, through every field between me and where you stay, between me and where you stay. I was walking my father's land in early spring, heard the wind come rolling down from the ridge singing, and I swear it said your name or something close, the kind of close that only lonesome people notice most. I stood real still, like maybe it would stay, but wind don't wait for the ones who walk away. But the wind still knows every word you said. It carries them through the tall grass, through the hay, through the hollow where the river bends ahead, through every field between me and where you stay. Between me and where you stay. You said I love you, but I'm made of leaving. I love you, but I'm made of open roads. You said it like a warning and a blessing, and I kept both. Lord, I kept both. Now I wonder if the wind holds them together, every honest word you gave, like nature keeping what we couldn't carry, like the world refusing to let them fade. The wind still knows every word you said, and I don't try to unhear it anymore. It's just the world reminding me you're real, just a voice I'll keep forever at my core, forever at my core. Every Sunday at the diner on the square, I still come in and tell them to, and point to our old chair. Lucy knows by now, she brings me coffee, doesn't ask. I sit and read the paper through to give myself a task. Sometimes a trucker sits across the room, and the diner fills with light, and I forget for a second or two. I saved you a seat you never came back to. I kept the space, I kept the coffee warm. I learned to eat alone, with something left to prove that some things outlast any kind of storm, any kind of storm. daughter called last fall and said, "Daddy, come to us." Said it's not healthy being there, there's nothing worth the fuss. I told her that she's right and that I'd think it through. But Sunday morning came and I was back at table 2. It's not about the hope so much anymore. It's about the ritual that holds me to the shore. I saved you a seat you never came back to. I kept the space, I kept the coffee warm. I learned to eat alone with something left to prove. And some things outlast any kind of storm. Maybe it's a stubborn kind of love, the kind that can't be reasoned with or talked down from the edge. Maybe waiting is the only language left when everything else already said it's peace. Or maybe I just like the Sunday light, the way it comes through those old yellow curtains, like you're still about to walk through that door. Like nothing's final, nothing's certain. I saved you a seat you never came back to. And one day maybe I'll stop saving it, but not today, Lord, not today. I'll leave the coffee warm and wait a bit. Leave the coffee warm and wait a bit. The lawyers signed their papers on a Wednesday afternoon. I drove home past the feed store where we bought seeds in June. Stopped at the light where we first kissed on New Year's Eve, and the radio played that song that made it hard to breathe. I turned it up instead of off, I don't know why. Something about the music made it easier to cry. Our story ended, but the radio keeps playing. Every song we ever loved still lives in the air, and the world just keeps on turning. No one's saying that the best thing we ever built just isn't there. Just isn't there. I see the neighbors wave like everything's the same. I smile back because I know they mean it without blame. The kids are growing, seasons turn, the fields are planted right. But I lie awake and count the stations every night. And everyone's got something for the broken-hearted man. Everyone's got someone who understands. Our story ended, but the radio keeps playing. Every song we ever loved still lives in the air, and the world just keeps on turning. No one's saying that the best thing we ever built just isn't there. I used to think the world would feel the difference, that something in the air would shift and know the two people who were one had come apart, and every bird would slow, every river pause below. But crows still fly the same lines every morning, and the river don't know your name from mine. And the radio plays beautiful love songs, like it's trying to remind me love survives. Our story ended, but the radio keeps playing, and maybe that's the mercy in the end, that music holds the things we couldn't save in, and plays them out for every soul that bends, for every soul that bends. Cleaning out the cedar chest on a rainy afternoon, found a box of photographs from before the honeymoon. There you were, 23, out on the Dawson Creek, hair down to your shoulder, and that smile across your cheek. I sat down on the cold floor, I stayed a while, tracing what I'd almost forgotten with my finger on that smile. I found your smile in an old photograph, the kind that takes you back before the hurt, before the years wore both of us in half, before we learned to say the things that hurt, before we learned those words. You were laughing at somebody just outside the frame. The joy you had was effortless. I wish I had your name. For whoever made you laugh like that on that bright summer day, I hope they know what they were part of, even in a small way. 'Cause a smile like that is rare, and it deserves to be seen. Even 40 years on in a box, in the cedar and green, I found your smile in an old photograph, the kind that takes you back before the hurt, before the years wore both of us in half, before we learned to say the things that hurt, before we learned those words. You still smile, just different now, more careful, more considered, like you learned along the way that the world could take things from you. And I see you guarding joy like a candle in the weather, and I love that smile too. God knows I love that smile too. But the girl in the photograph, she didn't know to hold it, and there was something holy there in loving without knowing. I found your smile in an old photograph, and I found mine right beside it. Didn't know we were so young, and we were so full of laughs, before we had the faintest clue how much we'd grow, how much we'd grow. I grew up in a house where doors were always closed, where feelings were like furniture. No one moved or talked about. So when you came along, all open hands and easy light, I didn't have the language, but I knew the feeling right. I walked into your laugh, and for the first time, I didn't have to carry anything inside. You were my home before I knew what that meant, before I knew a person could safety was meant when it lives inside someone else's face. Inside someone else's face. I read about belonging in a second-hand book, about the need we carry for a place to call our own. But the author never mentioned it. It could be a human look, the way you'd catch my eye across a room, and I'd feel home. And I think I knew before I could admit that home was never somewhere I could fix. You were my home before I knew what that meant, before I knew a person could be a place, before I understood what safety was meant when it lives inside someone else's face. Inside someone else's face. Now you're gone and I'm still standing in this house, with its four walls and its porch and all the right furniture. And I've been trying to feel settled ever since, but walls don't know your name and rooms don't hold your warmth. So I carry what I learned from you about what home is supposed to feel like, and I build it where I can, the best I can, with everyone who finds me in the dark light. You were my home before I knew what that meant, and I thank God that you taught me what the word could be. You were the first place I belonged, the first place I was sent, back to myself, back to something close to free, something close to free. It was August in the valley. The band was 3 songs deep. Tommy's barn was full of fireflies and honky-tonk and heat. You grabbed my hand without asking, pulled me to the floor said, I don't care who's watching. That's what people are here for. And I forgot for 2 whole hours every fear I'd held. We moved like gravity was optional, like nothing could compel. The night we danced like nothing could go wrong. When the stars were low and the fiddle played us true, we were so alive inside that perfect song. I didn't know that was the best of me and you. The best of me and you. September came with silence, and October came with cold. We started saying less and looking down and growing old. Not old in years, old in the way that distance makes you feel. Like the people on the dance floor weren't the people who were real. But I kept that August night like money in the wall, something I could spend when I had nothing left at all. The night we danced like nothing could go wrong. When the stars were low and the fiddle played us true, we were so alive inside that perfect song. I didn't know that was the best of me and you. The best of me and you. Sometimes I wonder if you think about it too. If you're somewhere at a party and a fiddle starts to play, and you're back in Tommy's barn, and it's August and it's you, and everything that came after hasn't happened yet today. And for just a half a second, and in that dance floor light, you're not who you became, you're just who we were that night. The night we danced like nothing could go wrong. God, I'm glad I didn't know what lay ahead. We gave that dance floor everything for 3 songs alone, and I'll keep it till the last good thought I've left. Till the last good thought I've left. You left at 7:30 on a Tuesday in the fall. The truck was packed so careful, barely noticed at all. I helped you with the last box, smiled like I was grown, watched your taillights disappear, and then I stood alone. I thought a goodbye had a start and then an end. Turns out some goodbyes just keep going round the bend. Your goodbye still echoes down this dirt road, still lives in the gravel and the October air. It's in the ruts, the tires made beneath your load. It's in the silence that rolled in after you weren't there. After you weren't there. The seasons ran their course. I painted the back fence. I learned to sleep the whole night through. It didn't make much sense, because healing and forgetting aren't the same damn thing. And sometimes being better still lets old echoes ring. I heard you in a sound the wind made passing through, and I stood real still and let that echo carry through. Your goodbye still echoes down this dirt road, still lives in the gravel in the October air. It's in the ruts, the tires made beneath your load. It's in the silence that rolled in after you weren't there. You said it clean and honest, I'll give you that. No cruelty, no drama, just the truth laid flat. I have to go where something's pulling at my chest, and I said I understood, and I hope I gave my best. I hope my face was steady when you turned around. I hope you didn't hear my heart hit the ground. Your goodbye still echoes down this dirt road, and maybe echoes are the way that love survives. The sound of something real that had to go, still proof that what we had was worth the drive, worth every mile of the drive. I've got no reason to go down Miller Street. diner there I liked is gone, replaced with new concrete. But every couple weeks I find myself pulling off the phone and driving down real slow, like I remember what it's for. The old apartment's painted yellow now, different name on the box. Someone else is hanging laundry where we had our morning talks. I still drive past the place we used to be, not looking for you, just looking for the us. The two people laughing on that small front balcony before we traded simple love for complicated trust. Complicated trust. I know it's just geography, I know that walls don't hold. The weight of what we were stays in me, not in brick and coal. But something in the body needs to be where things begin, like touching a scar to remember when you were a younger man. So I roll past slow and let the memory breathe, the way you let a held thing go without a grief. I still drive past the place we used to be, not looking for you, just looking for the us. The two people laughing on that small front balcony before we traded simple love for complicated trust. Complicated trust. There's a kid's bike in the front yard now, red and muddy from the rain, and I think about the life inside those walls that has nothing to do with my pain. And it's good, I swear it's good, that someone else is living in that light, that the place didn't die with us, that the place survived our fight. I still drive past the place we used to be, but lately I've been driving by a little faster. I'm learning how to keep the memory without making the drive my own disaster, without making it my own disaster. were thorough when you left, I'll give you that. Every book, every sweater, every hat off every rack. You cleared your shelf, took your mother's photograph, took the good lamp, left the broken one, took your laugh. But you left something I can't put in a box. You left something that don't fit inside a lock. You left, but your love never packed its bags. It's still here in the kitchen, in the morning light. It's still here when I'm tired and the last hope sags. It's the thing that gets me up and makes it right. Makes it right. I know that sounds like madness, or like a man in denial. I know the difference between loving someone in denial. But what we built together, it outlasted what went wrong. Some loves are walls, and darling, ours was a foundation. And a foundation don't go just 'cause the house comes down. It stays in the ground. It stays in the ground. You left, but your love never packed its bags. It's still here in the kitchen, in the morning light. It's still here when I'm tired and the last hope sags. It's the thing that gets me up, makes it right, makes it right. I'm not asking you to come back. Lord knows we had our reasons. I'm just saying thank you for loving me well enough that even now on my hardest mornings I can feel what good love taught me. The steadiness you left behind is still the steadiest thing I've got. You left, but your love never packed its bags. And I don't mean that as a sad thing anymore. It's the gift inside the grief, the light inside the dark. What you gave me, honey, still opens every door. Still opens every door. We were out on County Road, sitting on the hood, watching pink turn purple over Hendrix's field. You said, I want to remember this. And Lord, I understood that some moments know they're sacred in the way they feel. We stayed till the last light, went behind the trees. Neither one of us could bring ourselves to leave. Every sunset looks like the one we lost out on County Road, with our boots on the hood. I see your color painted in every dust, and it's beautiful, and it's breaking me good, breaking me good. My son said, Dad, come watch the sunset with me tonight. I held his hand out on the porch in the fading light, and I thought of you, but not with hurt, more with a grace, like you taught me how to love what disappears in space. Like you taught me that the going is part of the gift, that every end of life is what gives the light its lift. Every sunset looks like the one we lost out on County Road, with our boots on the hood. I see your color painted in every dusk, and it's beautiful, and it's breaking me good, breaking me good. I looked it up once while the sky turns red, something about the angle of the atmosphere, how the light bends differently when it's almost dead, makes the most color when the end is near. And I thought, maybe people are like that too. Maybe we burn the brightest when we're letting go. Maybe that last light we shared was both of us, knowing it was beautiful, knowing it was almost over. Every sunset looks like the one we lost, but I watch everyone because of you. You taught me what was worth the cost of staying till the very last hue, till the very last hue. My co-workers ask me how I'm doing, and I say just fine. I've gotten good at fine. I've practiced it 100 times. It ain't dishonest exactly, more like a different truth, like telling someone the weather when they asked about you. I smile at the right places, I laugh when laughing's right. I save my actual face for the long drive home at night. I learned to miss you without making a sound, without falling apart in front of God and everyone, without the kind of missing that brings the people round to hold your hand and tell you that you'll be okay. Honey, you'll be done. You'll be done. There's a public kind of heartbreak that gets real support, and then there's the quiet kind you do alone and sort. I got the second kind, I know, because it lingers. It don't ask for witnesses, just asked for winners, and winners got no ears. So I say everything in an empty house where missing gets to breathe and sing. I learned to miss you without making a sound, without falling apart in front of God and everyone, without the kind of missing that brings the people round to hold your hand and tell you that you'll be okay. Honey, you'll be done. Some people say it out, they cry in restaurants, they call their friends at 2 a.m. and say it all out loud. And I don't judge that path, Lord knows the tears are earned, but mine come quiet, mine come private, mine come bound. In the shower where the water drowns the sound, on the highway where the engine takes the weight, in the moment before sleeping going down, where the missing and the peace just calibrate. I learned to miss you without making a sound, and some days that's the hardest thing I've done. But somewhere in the silence I have found a kind of love that doesn't